Cursed. Cursed. We all go a little mad sometimes.
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
I saw the boogeyman. I saw him outside.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey everybody, welcome to a brand new episode of Tomb of Terrors with me, Old Man Brad. Whether you are new to the show or returning for another episode, thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you love the show, drop me a review on your favorite podcast app or become a patron. Patreon.com/oldmanbrad. Make sure to follow me over on social media. Just look for Old Man Brad on Blue Sky and Tomb of Terrors over on Instagram. And of course, you have to be following me over on Letterboxd. Just look for Old Man Brad so you can see all the watches that I do. This episode's a little bit of a different episode. I don't have a single, one movie review or anything like that. I have another interview. I had the chance to talk to Jason Sheedy and Joshua David Matthews from Heebie Jeebies Pictures as we kind of talked about Heebie Jeebies, the short films that they do, kind of past, present, future. And they've done a host of great short films. If you've never seen any of them, I know I've mentioned some of them over on the show before. To Hell With You, Tapestry, It Draws Closer. They have 3 new ones coming out later this year. Dag Nabbit, Playback, and Madam. Really excited to check those 3 out. But I got to meet these guys at Horror Hound. We had talked online, social media, kind of messaged back and forth, and getting to meet them and talk to them. And then now I got to sit down and talk a little bit about the story behind Heebie Jeebies and some Taco Bell. Before we dive into the interview, I just want to say if you are in the Cincinnati area, come out to Frightful Fridays on the 3rd Friday of the month. So thankful to be partnered with the Esquire Theater to host a horror screening once a month. And our screening for June, the week that this episode drops, on June 19th, is going to be The Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, aka Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. I saw this movie a few years ago, fell in love with it, and now we get to see it on the big screen. But come out on the 3rd Friday of every month at 10 p.m. and let's watch a movie together. Let's move into my interview with Jason and Joshua, and I will talk to you on the other side. My guests today have done such short films as To Hell With You, Tapestry, and It Draws Closer, with more on the way. I'm excited to welcome in the minds behind Heebie Jeebies Pictures, Jason Sheedy and Joshua David Matthews. How you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing today?
We met recently in person at Horror Hound, which was awesome. We've interacted online and everything else, and finally getting to meet people like, oh, you're real people. You're not AI.
Yeah, it was kind of a blast. Yeah. It was a blast meeting you at Horror Hound. What was it? The Terrace and the Baron podcast guys that have come?
Oh yeah, the Baron's Hideout.
Yeah. Yes, the Baron's Hideout. Those are good dudes too. We got to meet them, or 2 out of 3 of them, at Horror Hound. That was a fun place to meet people that we've had online relationships in person, and did not disappoint.
Well, it also makes it harder for you to review our films poorly now that you know we have a heart and a soul and have feelings.
It's true. It's true. Now I'm going to be like, oh, I gotta give this a good review because
that film sucked. What'd you think? It was great. Yeah, you can be honest with us.
We
can take it, but only a couple of times before our heart breaks. No, I think having a film. I'm jumping, but we had a feature, I think, 13 some years ago, or I don't know, a long time ago. And like reading Redbox reviews for that film is what definitely broke me into realizing like it hardened me. It gave me some perspective on like, what people are going to say and like how to take it, how to not take it, that kind of thing.
I went to art school and my instructors were hard on me. So in my first job, I had a boss who kind of tiptoed, and I'm like, dude, just give it to me. I have been beaten down. I have a thick skin, man.
Our school would take all your feelings away.
Yes,
just soul us down. Just tell me it sucks. It's fine. We have considered doing a bad film on purpose, like an objectively bad film on purpose, just to see if our friends would appreciate it or not.
Send it to the film festivals that usually are like kind to us and just feel like,
Here's our offering this year.
If you're going to do it on purposely bad, it could still be just fun because
I know. And then that's the one we're known for. And I was like, oh, that's the one that makes us blow up. Is this really
say,
bad
feature deal and like, yeah.
It's like, no, that's not us.
Let's just kind of start from the beginning. How did Heebie Jeebies Pictures kind of get started and come about?
Heebie Jeebies Pictures is fairly new. We've been a company for just on 2 years now. But Jason, me, and Kyle Steinecke, our other co-founder, all went to Savannah College of Art Design together. And Jason and Kyle started making a lot of films there. And I just kind of knew Jason and him through a fellow friend of ours, Brett Brooks, who acts in a lot of our short films. So that's kind of where we met and formed a relationship. But after we all graduated from SCAD, we just went different paths. You can jump in anytime, Jason, and talk about your path, or I'm just going to do it for you.
I'm just letting you go. Let them cook.
All right. So Jason and Kyle went off. They made a feature film together right out of film school called Patient. It did well enough. Like it did get distribution and with Showtime and like he was saying, some Redbox, where you got those great reviews.
Great reviews.
And then I went into more documentary film stuff and made a feature film that never got distribution. Nobody ever saw it before. So completely
no reviews.
No reviews. Great film if you could ever find it, but don't take my word for it. Read all my non-reviews. But I would say around 2019, we started talking more about writing a feature together, just to have something to collaborate on. And then COVID hit. We wrote this anthology feature film. We were going to do it. I was going to do a short. Jason was going to do a short. A couple of our other friends were going to do shorts, and we were going to have a feature. But COVID hit, so that didn't happen. And I think during the first year or so of COVID, we really started meeting weekly as just writing meetings and pitching ideas to each other, not to really work on together, but just to kind of keep ourselves motivated and creative during this downtime. And I think we had a pretty good output on projects.
There was quite a bit, I think, then. I mean, it was just like,
features,
for all the
short films
the tragedy of that time for various reasons. Like there was also a lot of sitting at home, with time to yourself, and work was slow or non-existent or, hiatuses and things like that. But
not to harp on COVID anymore.
I was going to say.
We want to. But,
some listener was just like, they're bringing it up again.
We're not doing it. It's over. But during this time, Jason had an ambitious bug up his ass and decided to actually go make some short films like he was writing instead of just writing them. And he did that for a couple of years. Pretty successfully.
And then Josh was like, how can I ride his coattails?
Exactly. So around 2023, I'm like, hey, do you want to work on something together? And we decided to do a couple of short films. And that turned out to be It Draws Closer and To Hell With You. And once we saw that kind of working collaborative experience did well for us, we decided to brand under Heebie Jeebies and keep the ball rolling. And here we are 2 years later. We have 6 films under the brand with a couple of others coming or working, pre-production, various stages. I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Is that the story, Jason?
That's
more
or less the story. Yeah. No, I think, I mean, it really was just we were already all making films together with this kind of group of friends. And Josh had been doing sort of his thing, where he was at the time. I was doing my thing, building some team here in Georgia and with people that, come and go in crew, based on who's available, but speaking, Brett Brooks and Aaron Obi, 2 people that act in just about everything we do, and then Josh is using them for his shorts as well. And it just kind of got to a head where it was like, why don't we just sort of create this company strictly for the idea of a brand where it's like, instead of, we're putting, all of us are individually putting in effort to promote ourselves. Why don't we try creating sort of a brand around our films and our work? And then it's like, we're all now funneling that energy into sort of elevating this brand, and then trying to make it fun and cute, with our little ghost logo where it becomes more of, something that people want to celebrate with and I'm not, this is it sounds very salesy, but I mean it in the sense, with t-shirts and a logo and a website, it all culminates under this umbrella now where we all sort of benefit anytime something gets an award or gets in a fest or gets promoted online. It's like, oh, you're part of that group now, as opposed to just me benefiting or whatever that might mean. So it just seemed like the right thing to do in terms of next steps. And it was also something we hadn't tried before. Josh and I each had sort of companies to ourselves, trying to deal with different jobs. And Kyle Steinecke, the other co-founder of Heebies, we had a company back in the day called Return Style where we were doing mostly corporate work. And Heebies is just strictly like our film ventures, just a lot of it is horror. Like, I mean, 99% of it.
It's genre.
It's genre. Like, it's horror sci-fi, horror comedy, horror action. But we're not strictly opposed to doing it. It's just something we both enjoy doing. But I think genre in any capacity, that might be high fantasy at some point. The Heebie Jeebies label is sort of more of just a fun thing. Like, it has a spooky connotation to it, but it's also kind of playful and a little bit retro, which is sort of like the sort of vibe that we wanted to give off with the type of movies we make.
You're talking kind of, a genre label where you have comedies like To Hell With You, or, darker stories like Tapestry or It Draws Closer. Now, as you're kind of figuring out, what's next on the plate, do you kind of picking like, we did a comedy last time. Let's try a little darker this time, or going from there? Do you have like a whole list already like set up, like this is the one we're going to do?
Yes and no. I mean, I think there's a list of, like any creative, you have a long list of ideas that you've had in the past, or, scenes that you enjoy. We started this as like a fun, like collaborative space to network and play with, but it's really turned into a company where we have meetings and we have pitches, and we want to make sure that we're going into the next project all aligned, and like this is the next step for Heebies. But we also don't want to repeat ourselves in the same kind of space. So yeah, there's a horror comedy, To Hell With You, and Jason also has a horror comedy, The Mages of Rage, but those are vastly different stories and like feelings.
Crop the title on me. Didn't even say the full title.
I'm not saying the whole title.
I can't say the whole title.
It's too long.
I tell people all the time, I'm like, just check out Mages of Rage.
Just Google Mages of Rage. You'll find the rest of the title. But so when we do meet, it's like, what haven't we done before? Yes, I want to play in this horror space, but I don't want to do another creature feature right now. Like, It Draws Closer. What do I want to do next? And I pitched them my idea for like a cursed videotape. Like, I want to play in this J horror space. So that's how kind of Playback came about. I know, Jason, you just came out of a horror comedy and you wanted to try something different, or actually you just came off Tapestry, which is a very supernatural ritual kind of film. And he wanted to play something different. He had not done a villain film. So I'm going to pitch everything for you, Jason, if you don't speak up. But
I mean, I'll jump in. I'll just letting you talk.
So I mean, he created it. He wrote and created Madam. So yeah, there's different avenues that we haven't, that is not on our roster, that we want to hit and just kind of test the waters, that see what kind of sticks.
Yeah.
But we want to play in the sandbox of horror and just all these elements, and see like our version of these stories. Because it's fun to do, but also like just to show people we can do it. We can do this style of film. We can do this kind of comedy. We can do this kind of horror. It's been fun.
I feel like there's a lot of benefits too, to like, I mean, what Josh said, like, yeah, it's been an opportunity for us as filmmakers to see, like, or to prove to people like, hey, that, like, yeah, if you wanted something that's like more niche in this aspect of the genre, like, we want to have an example for that. But then as filmmakers, like, selfishly too, it's also like giving us a chance to play in. I mean, with the shorts especially, there's way more instant gratification. You can turn them around a little bit quicker. Like, I know we've been kind of operating on like this idea of, make X amount of shorts a year, take them to the festival circuit, release them online, and sort of stagger it so that no matter what, every year we've got something in the festival circuit and we've got something releasing online. And then for us, that's also like kind of a way to see what we like doing. Like, as we're sort of getting into developing feature ideas now, like there are some that lend themselves more like directly to like, oh, this feels like a Heebie's feature. This might be tricky to expand, but then also like just, yeah, selfishly, like just find the one that we actually want to spend the next 4 years on, or whatever, however it might be,
You mentioned before working with Aaron and Brett, who have been in many of your films. That has to make things easier when you're like coming up with a project of like, going to Aaron and being like, we're going to do this to you this time. All right, cool. Like, I'm in.
I think it's fun. I think it's fun for them too. I mean, at least I hope it is.
Depends on who you ask and when you ask them.
Redacted. It is super fun for them. No, it's we don't want to do the same thing every time as filmmakers, and I can't imagine as actors they want to do the same thing every. And I'm sure there's, just within the genre, there's things that bleed over and are similar enough. Especially within shorts, we're not giving them like a 45-minute character arc. Usually it's smaller, and sometimes it's less. Depending on what the story is, like it might be more of like a longer scene as opposed to a full-fledged story. Like To Hell With You, in my opinion, is more of like a 3-act, full-fledged story, whereas Madam we're kind of just like pulling out a scene of this like villain character. For Erin, I know specifically, like she enjoyed that because she's played villains in other films like that we've done, but not as directly as she does in Madam. And Brett, like, yeah, he's played the hero, he's played the victim, he's played the villain. Like just giving them opportunities where every time it's also like a chance to sort of just explore and just kind of be like, hey, I hope you're interested in doing this because this is something that I don't think you've done at least with us. So.
And they haven't said no yet, so maybe they're having a good time.
The first time when they do, you're like, ooh, we'll rethink the idea and we'll come back
No,
to
they
you.
just won't ever be cast again. That's it.
We always joke with them that we have right of first refusal for whatever they do, just so we can reserve them for our... We don't really, obviously. But
Once you guys kind of came together and jumping into this, what kind of challenges have you guys come across of where you said you have meetings now, it's kind of running as a company, and you have this cycle of like one in the festival, one online, kind of trying to keep the wheels moving. Like, how challenging has it been for you?
I will say that 3 films in a year is a lot. It's just a lot. I think the biggest challenge, though, has been just scheduling. Like, just trying to get everybody on board the same weekend to do this project. I mean, that's the toughest part, no matter, I think, what your budget is or how big your story is. It's just getting everybody on the same page.
all those, yeah. When people say like it's a miracle anything gets made, I think they're referring to the idea of like, whether it's 6 people or 200 people, like getting them all together in a room, for the same purpose of getting these, 20 shots, whatever it is, you got to get done for the day. Like, I think that's the miracle thing.
And we've done this twice now with It Draws Closer to Hell with You and Playback Madam, where we've just taken a long weekend and filmed both over the weekend. Because for scheduling, it's been easier to do 2 shorts with everybody involved than trying to find more time throughout the year to make it work. And that's also challenging is just filming 2 projects of these nature in 3 days and having the same cast and crew kind of bounce forth mentally with where they're at in this film and going back to this film. We did Draws Closer to Hell with You is a little easier because we did It Draws Closer in 1 day and we had 2 days to do To Hell with You with maybe it was a half day in the middle or something where we prepped and then 2 days for To Hell with You. With Playback and Madam, we mixed it up. So it was 1 day playback, another day Madam, that night playback, the next day playback, and then ADR shoots later. That's been the most challenging part, is just getting people there at the same time. And then, this year we did 3 films in 1 month. And again, it wasn't because we wanted to challenge ourselves that way. It was just that's when schedules lined up. Personally, like finding 2 weekends in 1 month to do 3 films has been pretty tough. But I think it all worked out.
I mean, you could say, we wanted to do 3. Next time we're going to do 4 in a month and just see what we can do.
No, I've apologized because I really do think I pushed, like, we should do 2 this weekend. And they haven't told me no yet, pushing that. But I think I'd rather do a 4-day shoot on 1 film.
I was just saying, really, like, we work full-time jobs. So, like, we're not doing this full-time, which it's always fun because every now and then, like, not every once in a great while, I got this email once and it was like, is Heebie's hiring? And I was just like, God, I wish it was. Because that would imply that I'm also getting paid to do this. And I think a lot of people can relate to that idea, where you have your paycheck that you're making money with, and then you just got to find the time to work on the things you want to work on. And I do truly believe still that if you want to find time for it, you will. I think speaking on the challenges thing too, there's something about I think with ideas, I think a lot of people, if it's not the sort of logistics of a shoot, it's sort of like the reason to even do the shoot. It's like the story or the idea, and is it worth spending X amount of dollars on? Is it worth pulling in the favors if I have those to pull? And I don't know it's not been challenging, I guess, in like the traditional sense of the word, but I do think there's something about that where at some point, like, especially if you are wanting to make this stuff, it's sort of like following your gut. Like, this feels like it could be fun. This feels like it could be something. Certainly not going into anything half-hearted. I don't mean that at all. But I think the way that we sort of work with that is like when we're in that idea, in that scripting phase. I mean, we've written plenty of scripts that we've never shot and probably never will shoot. Shorts, features, whatever. But I think with the shorts that we are intending to shoot, there's that point where there's an idea. Like in this sea of ideas, there's one that keeps kind of popping up to the surface, and you're like, I didn't like you 3 months ago, but now you seem like kind of fun. And then another week passes, and you're like, shoot, I think I love this idea, And I think those are the ones, and I'm certainly not the first person to say it, but the ones that like you can't stop thinking about are the ones you should absolutely make, even if you against your better judgment sometimes, because I think there's something that clearly your body or your mind or whatever is trying to like. There's something worth exploring there. So, are
there any recently that have done that you were like, say Tapestry
all of them.
Was the one? All of them.
I remember To Hell with You as being one that you were like sitting on for a long time.
To Hell With You is like so I think Josh says this, it's like I literally have like a document online that just has like log lines. And some are more fleshed out than others. Some are just like Reclaimer is the one I made with my dog at one point, which is like dog sees spooky stuff, and it's like that's all it was. Like this isn't a story, but To Hell With You was literally like kid. Like I think the log line I had in my Google Doc was a kid dies during a possession while the demon has control, and the guardian angel wants to fight with them over it or something. And like I just sort of ignored it for a while, and just it just sat there. And then for whatever reason, one night, I was going through those ideas. I'm like, that seems really fun right now. So, and it's just like chasing that feeling. Like I'm just going to write a script and see and then I wrote the script. And I was like, this is really stupid, but I love it. And then, you start going through that phase of, hey, what do you think? Josh and I share a lot of scripts, give feedback. I'll do coverage stuff every now and then, or you'll submit to contests where it's like We Love Killer Shorts is a big one. I think I submitted to that and like got the feedback, and getting some of that to kind of play with. And ultimately what I came out of it with that one was, I like this idea a lot, but I think I would like it more if it had more substance, meaning like some sort of emotional weight to it. And that's now I think it has a bit more heart. Like it's still a goofy, has its bloody, horror movie moments, but I like to think it has some heart to it. And I think it's that sort of evolution of, what starts as one thing can certainly, end as something completely different while also keeping like the main core of what it was. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me because I do feel like a lot of the ideas we tend to make are just stem from the fact where we'll have a meeting about, a few ideas. I'm like, I'm kind of leaning towards this one, but I don't know. And then a month later, it's like, can't stop thinking about that one. I think I want to do it.
Yeah, I still got to.
Madam was like that. Yeah.
Ready to. Most of mine, like I keep coming back to, right? We haven't done because it's just budget. And then at a certain point, you're like this is a good idea, but is it a good idea that you want to spend $20,000 on? At that point, you just submit it to a competition. You're happy if you get anybody to read it.
You mentioned it. You both have full-time jobs, and you mentioned, you shoot these, scheduling on weekends. And you've said you've written some features. Any plans for future sometime to do a Heebie's full feature film, or would that be too much of a nightmare to try to schedule?
No. I mean, that's the dream for any filmmaker, I think. I love short films. I love the format. I don't think I'd ever want to stop making a short just because it is a fun playground to be in. But I mean, the goal of Heebie's was always to get into features. We're in that stage right now where we're thinking, how many more of these shorts do we have in us before we need to tackle that? So we're taking this year as kind of how do you want to phrase it? Like a brainstorming. We're in the development stages. We're pitching ideas. We're writing stuff out. The idea is to hopefully end this year with a script that we're hoping to get financed and film next year.
And also get our podcast sponsored by Taco Bell. Whatever happens first.
That's also good for us. You just got to keep eating Taco Bell on
saying if we ever get the T-Bell hookup, I'm gonna be like, listen, I got another one for you. We'll live moths together, brother.
Yes.
No, yeah, I think we're definitely in the process. We definitely want to do it. Like, I think a filmmaker I think of that I think has a cool, like David Sandberg, who did like Lights Out, the short, and he did the feature, the second Annabelle movie and stuff. But he's still got a pretty active YouTube channel where he like breaks down stuff. But he's made Until Dawn, I think was the last feature he made, and then also this random short he just made popped up. And I love that idea of just like you can do both. I think there's like this. Sometimes there's just disconnect with the idea of like, once you move on to features, like you don't go back. And yes, the shorts are a stepping stone to get to a feature, and like dialing in our style, like, all that stuff. But at the same time, like it is fun to make. We do enjoy making them. So I don't think there's any world where we would never stop making them. But I think obviously with, trying to make this into more of a career and things like a feature is going to potentially open more doors for that and give us more opportunities, to continue something that, would allow us to, make this more of like a living, if you will. So I think for a lot of reasons, features are definitely where we want to end up. But it also, I mean, speaking from like an artistic perspective, like I'd love to just tell a longer story again. Like there's something really nice about being with your actors too, where they also get the chance, to really, really play out a character arc that's, over the course of an entire feature film. And I think it ends up in, when we did Patient, the feature that I worked on, the undisclosed time ago that I can't remember, but 10 years, let's just say. That was one of my favorite parts. Was just like being able to like talk to Brett, who co-wrote the film, but also starred in it, like just in Annie Reese, who was our lead in that, this wonderful actress. But just being able to kind of like work on full scenes with them under the scope of this like bigger picture feature film. And that was really, really satisfying from like that artistic side. So
even if you go features, as you said, like short films, if there's, say, a genre or something you just want to kind of test the waters with? You'd be like, I'll make a short film about this where I'm not having to try to do a full-blown, the next feature film doing that. See if
Right.
it's like something I want to do or something that works for me.
There's a lot of storylines, a lot of ideas that you have that may work wonderfully for 2 minutes. It's not going to be a feature. And I don't want to not do it just because it won't be a feature.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Dag Nabbit kind of spawned, or one of the ones that will come out this fall from that idea. Like, where we're talking about Madam and Playback and doing these pre-production meetings, and me and Jason started pitching this idea back and forth that became Dag Nabbit. And we just did that in the middle of pre-production for the other two because we wanted to tell this weird story that didn't have a place anywhere else. I don't think it has legs for a feature. It might. I mean, everything can if you try hard enough. But I don't want to like lose that feeling if we're just in feature mode and a good idea comes out. It's like, this is fun. We should do this. Just if worst case, you have a great weekend with the friends. Best case, you get in a good festival, or there's money in this, right?
It's really interesting because I think, part of our, I guess, like our mantra, we've said this so many times now, it feels like it's like our manifesto, but like,
We'll put it on a shirt.
yeah, the whole like vibe with the films we make is, when it stops being fun, we'll stop doing it. And I think that carries through from like, just being a kid running around, like Josh grew up in Alabama, I grew up in Illinois, in this really small town. And like, we both had very similar, filmmaking journeys where a lot of that first interest in filmmaking was just taking mom and dad's camera and running out with your friends and, turning on the night vision mode because it looked cool, or turning on like the infrared mode because you're like, we're making Predator, which I guess it's not infrared, whatever that mode was. But, just trying to recapture that idea of like, I'm just making this because this is who I am. This is what I want to do. This is fun. And then you become an adult and you have to pay bills and life gets complicated, You're like, how do I have fun and survive? How do I fun and eat Taco Bell every night?
That's how the idea for Dag Nabbit come. You just thought of that and went, Dag Nabbit? And you're like, ooh, idea.
Precisely. Dag Nabbit's title was really funny because, just a small tangent for that. So Josh had a script called Hell, and we knew we wanted it to be sort of like we wanted the title of the film to be what he said, but we're like, what's the stupidest thing we can think that will also draw like festival like attention kind of thing.
Yeah, we
had
a list of lines for the actor to say. And it's like, well, whatever is funnier, we're going to pick for the title of the movie. And I don't think we made it past Dag Nabbit.
Yeah, well, I think
it
once we like,
that's it.
There was one that was like close, I feel like, but I'd have to go back. I remember we were like teeter-tottering
or something like that. Like there was,
yeah.
It was a really silly one.
Dag Nabbit was the clear winner.
Dag Nabbit, Playback, and Madam. They're going to start people start seeing them in some festivals this fall, kind of rolling around.
Hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. I guess if they get picked up. Between that and, the ones that have played festivals before, how has like audiences kind of taken to the films thus far?
We've gotten a great reaction from most of us. I mean, it's like anything, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure you can go on Letterboxd or any of our movies. Some people love them, some people don't like them. It's just the nature of whatever. But I would say as a whole, the times that we've, gotten to actually talk to people like after screenings or online or whatever it is, like, it's really like encouraging to sort of see people say things like, yeah, this made my day, or, for the comedy stuff, not for the horribly dark. There's just one I'm thinking of that I can't spoil, but it's really made my day. But even if it was something with those, we're like, I mean, for example, like on To Hell With You and It Draws Closer premiered on Alter a couple months back, and just going and getting to read the comments on that, like stuff for like It Draws Closer, where the guy's like, I was scared, 30 seconds in. It's like, that's super encouraging to hear, and hopefully means, validation's a beautiful thing. So I'll take it when I can get it.
Yeah.
But it doesn't discourage us either. Like, I think I've heard this before too, where like, especially in the age of like internet culture, you could have 1,000 comments that say how much they love it, and there's one comment that was just like, this is a waste of time, and like you'll ignore all the other positive stuff and you'll just hone in on this one. Like, it's just like, why does that stick with you more than these, like, and I think we've learned to
which is why it's good to go to art school, so you can have those feelings stripped from you early on.
That's right.
So it doesn't affect you so much in the long run.
And it's hard, right? I mean, it's something you put yourself out and made, and like, no matter what, like, yeah, I'm not going to lie and say that like that doesn't affect me, but I definitely don't care as much as I used to. I think just also from like if anything else, I've learned to like take the bad with or take the good with the bad. It's like, and sometimes people have a bad comment, but you're like, that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And I think being able to also look outside yourself and analyze that in a way where, maybe that is something to improve on. I mean, that's fine. So,
You just gotta, art's subjective and not everybody's going to have the same taste.
yeah. It's not like Taco Bell where everything's perfect.
Yeah.
Of course.
And to speak on I will say it's been nice. One thing I think that really works for us is short films. And I wish other people would, if I had to lend any advice about wanting to start something at Heebie Jeebies is I think the brand has been recognized really well in the past couple of years at the festivals, especially you start going back to the same festivals. As soon as the Ghost pops up at the beginning, you can hear people laugh or
You feel like,
oh
no.
it's like this one. Like people are starting to recognize the brand in somewhat that it's been rewarding in that way. Like they know where they're going to be watching once they see that Ghost pop up. Like, oh, this is a Heebie Jeebies film. It's going to have XYZ qualities to it. And I think that's been a pretty validating thing for me this past years, is kind of seeing that grow.
For sure.
I don't want to take, too much of the Taco Bell time before the wives get home and the dogs start barking. I want to thank you guys so much for chatting with me, and it was awesome to meet you out here in Horror Hound. I hope you were able to make it back at some point.
Oh, yeah, planning on it. That was a great time.
Yeah, that was really fun. And it was very cool to meet you. And yeah, like the Barron's people, like just being able to, we were talking about this, I guess, before we started recording, but actually getting to make face with people, that the internet, we're all just trying to do something, right? So you reviewing our stuff or talking to us and vice versa, giving films. I think it's just a very nice relationship. And I love getting these chances to actually you have a conversation where we otherwise, wouldn't, it's not like we all have this time to just sit down, but hey, what's going on? So thanks for the opportunity to do that.
Oh yeah. Here's the plug part. Where can people follow Heebie Jeebies and you guys online?
Training Jason for this. Jason, do it.
Do we have time for one more Taco Bell joke? No. And all your listeners tuned out. They're like, I don't need to know where these guys are. HeebieJeebiesPictures.com is our website. That has links to any film that's basically available online. You can watch there. That also has links to our podcast, Deep Dark Well, where we talk about filmmaking and have some of our colleagues on and get into that. You can buy merch there. You can buy our cute little ghost on a t-shirt, and all those proceeds go to the Taco Bell Fund for our film shoots. Got it in. We're active on Instagram. We have Instagram and Facebook, if you just search Heebie Jeebies Pictures, but our Instagram is at Heebie Jeebies Pictures, and that's where we'll post a lot of our festival updates. So if you are interested in kind of keeping up with the latest films and seeing if they might be playing anywhere near you, that's a great place to be.
YouTube.
Oh, I guess there's the YouTube where you can literally watch the movies that we make because we're a film company. YouTube is also at Heebie Jeebies Pictures. And yeah, we also have some behind the scenes stuff there, just some process videos and things. So you get a little bit more than just the films. We also host all the podcasts as videos there. So you can look at our faces and see who we really are.
Well, thank you guys so much. I can't wait to see what you guys have next. I've enjoyed the films thus far. And yes, I will let you know if there's ever one that's that one didn't quite hit like the other ones did.
Just let us down gently.
Yeah, I will. This part was really good. And then I'll just leave it at that.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. We'll talk soon.
I want to thank those guys again for taking time out of their day to chat with me. It was great catching up. We talked actually for quite a while off recording. And as I said, getting to meet him out on Horror Hound. But if you haven't already, you need to go check out their short films. Jason has a short film. We mentioned it as The Mages of Rage. The full title is actually The Mages of Rage and the Desecration of the House of Mimicry. It's actually a really funny short film. But I know To Hell With You and It Draws Closer just landed on Alter. You can watch them on their YouTube pages. I was on the Barron's Hideout podcast recently for their Tales from the Barrens, where we talked about To Hell With You and a couple other shorts. If you don't listen to the Barron's Hideout, make sure you subscribe to them as well. I get the chance to pop on from time to time and chat with them, but I'll have links to all of Heebie Jeebies stuff down below. Can't wait for this fall when their new short films, Madam, Playback, and Dagnabbit start kind of showing up. Maybe they'll play here at Horror Hound. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Look forward to checking out what they have coming. We'll wholeheartedly watch for future stuff. They have a really great style. I love their shorts they've come out with thus far. Brett Brooks and Aaron Owensby, who are in a lot of their shorts, both kill it in that. To Hell With You, that's one of their shorts I probably watched the most times. Their chemistry in that short film is just so good, so funny. It's just quick. The fact that they filmed that one and It Draws Closer both in one weekend, it's just crazy to me. The quality that they get out of quick shoots like this for these short films, even more amazing. But yeah, go check out Heebie Jeebies Pictures, all their short films. Follow them on Instagram and all that. I'll have links below. Just make sure you follow along and yeah, go check out their stuff. All right, before I head out, Scream 7 just came out on Blu-ray and 4K. Fear Comes Home with Scream 7. It's now available on DVD, 4K, and digital. I enjoyed this movie. I had a good time with it. I'm not going to get into logistics and background about it. I had fun with the movie, and that's that. If you haven't seen Scream 7, you know what? If you have an interest, go check it out. That's all I'll say. Well, that will do it for another episode of Tomb of Terrors. Thank you so much for giving me a listen. If you don't already, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any episode that happens over here, whether it's these interview episodes, verses that I do with my wife. We just had one on Carrie, short review episodes, Tales from Tubi, and of course, the year of Paul Naschy, where I'll be going through 20 plus Paul Naschy movies throughout the year. Over here on the show, we're going to have 12, one each month, and I'll have additional reviews on Patreon and my YouTube page. Just follow Tomb of Terrors over on YouTube. Having a blast with this series. But I'll be back soon with a new episode. Just snuggle up in that blanket, turn off the lights, because it's okay to be scared. We'll talk to you later, everybody.